Good evening. So tonight I'm going to present a piece that I did also early on in the pewter casting experiments. This is a more of a personal talisman that I did, and it's called A Talisman Against the Gossip of the Dead. And I'll get into discussing that a little bit when the piece shows up. So here it is. So this is a composite that I put together with a lot of found objects. It's about 5.5 inches tall. So I was about to say it's about life size on my screen, but not knowing what mode you're watching this in. So in the pewter cache of items that came with all the equipment and the molds, or a lot of objects. Some of them I kept, 95% of them I melted down into ingots to cast my own sculptures, including, curiously enough, this sculpture. So the toad, well, let's go to the beginning. The piece is ultimately originally in wax, but the wax sculpture also had found objects embedded in it. So the owl is vintage, pre-existing, in pewter, embedded in the wax, along with the upside down skeleton, the two skulls at the very top that flank the little urn, and the urn is also pewter. Then there are some cut glass jewels about halfway up in the wreath. And then the feet as well in front of the toad. So again, it's a more of a collage idea. And a sort of a conceptual piece. So I'll have another description of this piece on my other channel, but this is more the art description. I mean, not that the other description is going to be different, just that I do these presentations, 2 of them at a time, one for this channel and one for the other. So this, as the other pieces have been, it's been archivally sealed. I did the patina as well, which is a India ink wash. So I heat the piece up first, warm to the touch, make sure there's no moisture in the metal. And then I coat it with India ink. Sometimes I use sepia tone mixed in with the black to give it a different hue, but this is just pure India ink. And then I heat it up again, a little hotter, to let the metal expand a little bit on a microscopic level, and then it pulls the patina slightly a little deeper into the piece. And then once it cools down, I brush it back with a quad aught steel wool. So that's like 4 zeros. And then air air it off and take a brush and brush over it really well. Check to make sure that big flakes didn't come off and that the brush back of the patina is even in what I want. Sometimes I touch it up a little bit with a small brush in the patina. So the idea came to me that there is such a thing as gossiping about the dead. So this was a talisman to protect against gossip. And in a sense, it's like an offering to that dimension where the deceased exist on many levels, not not just in memory, but continuance and all that they have affected, and those things also going forward, living life. This piece might be available. It just depends on who's interested in it and their reasons for being interested. Uh, I'm always open to finding good homes for my works, and they're all very close to my heart. So, but this one in particular was more of a personal piece, but I'm not afraid to let it go if I feel like it will benefit beyond me, someone else. So you can see where the back of the owl's head meets the back of the upside down skeleton's head. So that's not a coincidence. That's a design choice there. One world meeting another. And the toad also facing that world. I like to kind of keep it open ended as far as the narrative. Um, but it is a talisman, so uh, by nature it's open to personal meaning and investment in the piece. I believe I've stated the title of it before, but I'm going to state it again, just in case I missed a word. I'm pretty sure it goes something like the talisman of protection against gossip of the dead. Something to this effect. It's a long title. And this was all cast in one pour, very small piece, and well, relatively very small, 5.5 inches tall, is considered small in the studio here. A jeweler would consider this very large. Most of them, they don't deal with crucibles the size of um, the ones that are here in the studio. I believe this was also one where I had to go back in and change the mold because it was leaning. Something had happened um, in how the mold was um, how the piece was solidifying in the mold while it was cooling down. It had a slight lean to it. So I think there was a situation inside the mold where a few of the anchors that the silicone has, like these little buttons that snap into the plaster shell, were off a little bit. But if I recollect correctly, I believe I recast the plaster. I made the mold, the shell again. So I put the piece back in the mold, the silicone, and carefully put it all back together, and then made another plaster mold with it. So sometimes that's very rare. Like, I think that's the only, like, maybe 2 out of over 200 molds that have had issues like that. So not too big of a deal. So I cast 2 or 3 of these, but I melted down the other 2 because the lean in it was started at around the base, and it was just not able to salvage it. But this one turned out perfect. No air bubbles, no shrinkage. This is 1-to-1 scale to the original. And the pre-existing vintage pewter pieces, the 2 skulls, the urn, the upside down skeleton, the toad, the owl, the feet are made of a resin. I still use those from time to time. But the original pieces that are in pewter, they turned out really good in this, almost identical to the originals as far as the mold, picking up the detail and remembering it well. And the silicone holds up very, very good for multiple castings. This could be one that I might cast more than one, but ultimately the general rule is it's 1 of 1, unless I had like a special request from someone. I don't make like 8 or 12 editions and then sell them. I only make 1. So this is it. Thank you for supporting the channel, and like and subscribe. Please share the channel if you have friends or associates that you feel would benefit. Happy to inspire or ask. Well, I'm happy to ask questions, but also answer questions. And feel free to comment, and thank you for dropping by. Good night.